My name is Terrence Huff, and this is my friend John Seaton. In December of 2011, we decided to go to St. Louis to see a Star Trek exhibit at the St. Louis Science Center. It was pretty cool. They had some of the sets there from the original series and ships that they'd used in the motion pictures. We woke up the next morning, grabbed some Jack-in-a-Box, and headed east on I-70 back to Hamilton, Ohio. We came across an officer who was sitting in the median beside the highway. His name was Michael Reichert, a canine officer for Collinsville, Illinois Police Department. He paced my car for about 4 or 5 miles, like he wasn't even paying attention. There was a car who had zoomed past us, and we assumed that he'd pulled out to pull him over, but he didn't. He decided to drop back, check my license plates, and soon after he got behind my vehicle. He then hit his lights and pulled me over to the side of the road. At this point, it's pretty much what you would expect from any traffic stop. Officer Reichert asked me for my driver's license, proof of insurance, or registration, which I had all of, and all were current. Then Officer Reichert asked me to step to the back of the car so he could talk to me there because he was having trouble hearing me over the highway noise.
Tell you what, I'm having a hard time hearing you with the cars going by. Can I get you to step back here and I'll explain to you why I stopped you real quick? You just want to step out in front of my car, I'll be right back with you, okay? How you doing today? Good. What's your name?
John.
John, do you have any ID on you at all, bud? Sure.
Officer Reichert then returns to the front of his vehicle and informs me why I was pulled over.
Oh, okay. The reason I'm stopping, I'm not sure what happened back there. You're in front of the truck in the lane, and then you went about halfway over the lane, and then you come back over. I thought initially you were going to change lanes, and then you come back. You didn't have no turn signal on or anything like that. I don't know if you were talking with him.
You can tell by the look on my face that I'm shocked, flabbergasted at what he's just told me. I know for a fact that I wasn't weaving, but I'm from out of state and I don't want any trouble, so I'm just going to go along with it. And Officer Reichert has already shown that he's morally compromised by fabricating a reason to pull me over.
I'll tell you what, I'm just going to check your license real quick. Okay. As long as that all comes back, I'll get you out of here, okay?
At this point, he takes John's and my IDs back to his car to check for warrants. There are none, but he does dig deep into our pasts. He finds an old arrest record of mine that was supposed to be expunged after it was dismissed in court. He seems to find joy in discovery of this record and refers to me as a motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
We wait for nearly 25 minutes, and then a second officer arrives. Soon after, Officer Reichert shows back up to the car with a piece of paper in his hand.
Computer's running super slow, man.
That's okay.
There's both your IDs back.
Okay.
This is a warning. It's not a ticket. It don't cost you anything. You don't have to go to court.
Okay.
Anything like that, okay? Whenever we stop people, we have to document why we stop them.
Okay.
Okay? There's that. You have any questions about that at all?
No, that's pretty much standard.
Okay.
And I shook Officer Reichert's hand. This should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. Instead, he decided to spin another tale of my partner being nervous about something.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, let me ask you a question real quick. When I went up to talk to your partner, he seems really apprehensive, really nervous. Is there any particular reason for that at all?
As we checked the tape at the time of the questioning, it doesn't appear that John is really nervous at all. In fact, he sounds pretty laid back.
What happened back there, I don't know if you guys were talking or whatever, but he went about halfway over the line and then come back right in front of the tractor trailer, a couple miles back.
When I was eating, man.
Okay. Where you guys coming from?
St. Louis.
Okay. All right, man. Hang tight, I'll be with you in a minute.
John's nervousness is obviously another fabrication by Officer Michael Reichert. Did you also notice that John had no recollection of me weaving in traffic? Either way, it was soon revealed why we were pulled over in the first place.
This highway right here, we have a major problem with people running guns and drugs and illegal stuff up and down the highway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You guys don't have anything like that inside your car now, do you?
No, I could show you the photos that we took when we were at the Star Trek convention and everything else.
Okay.
We're not drug runners, we're just on vacation. It's my birthday, I spent the weekend in St. Louis.
Gotcha. Does everything inside the car belong to you or him?
That's my knowledge, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's my car. I mean, but nobody else be in him.
Okay.
At least today.
Okay. There wouldn't be any marijuana in there right now?
No.
Any cocaine in there?
No.
Any heroin?
No.
Any guns in there?
No.
How about any large amounts of U.S. currency in there?
No. Actually, I'm I'm on the credit card right now.
Okay. Would you have any objection to searching the car real quick to make sure that there's nothing illegal inside the car? Now, let me tell you something, okay? I'm not overly concerned about personal amounts and stuff like that. If you've got a little bit of personal amount of stuff like that, you're honest with me, not worried about that, okay? We're looking for...
There are no drugs in the car, and I would just like to go on my way if I could.
Okay. Well, I don't have a problem with that. I'm just a little comprehensive about your buddy, the way he was acting. He's a little bit nervous. I've got a canine in the car. So what I think I'm going to do is probably just detain the car long enough to run the dog around it.
That's fine.
If the dog alerts to the car, then I will search the car. That gives us probable cause in the state of Illinois. And anything that I find in the car at that time, I will charge you with it. Okay? If there's any personal amounts of marijuana or cocaine or heroin or anything like that.
There are no cocaine or nothing in the car.
You got a little personal amount of marijuana in the car?
I don't have any drugs on me.
Okay.
I don't have, there's nothing on me.
Okay. Well, that's why I'm asking for your cooperation, okay? Is there anything inside the car I need to know about at all?
No.
Okay.
The only thing is, I mean, you pulled me over for swerving, and I know I didn't swerve.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm being profiled here.
How would you be profiled?
Because I didn't. Well, number one, I didn't swerve.
Basically, I've called Michael Reichert a liar here. Notice how he doesn't even bother to defend himself.
Number two, I mean, do I look like a drug user?
Well, you know what? If I had a crystal ball that I could rub and I could tell this guy's a drug dealer, this guy's a drug carrier, then guess what? We wouldn't have a drug problem in this country, would we?
Yeah. Well,
Here's the deal. I'm asking for your cooperation right now. I'm asking for your consent to search the car. If your answer is no, okay, you're free to go. I'm just going to detain the car long enough to run the dog around it.
Okay.
I can get you a ride. I can do whatever you need to do.
What do you mean by detain the car?
Just keep the car right here, run the dog around it. If the dog alerts to it, we'll do what we need to do. If the dog doesn't alert to it, then we go.
Well, I mean, if I'm free to go, can I go?
Not in the car.
So, because my passenger is nervous, this officer is going to take my car from me.
I'm asking for your cooperation right now. If the answer is no, say no, and then we'll go about and do what we need to do. If there's nothing in the car...
Well, you're going to do what you... It seems like to me, like I don't have a choice in the matter. You're going to search my vehicle anyway.
No, I'm going to have my dog run around your car. Okay, walk around the car, and the dog will sniff. The dog's trained to alert to the odor of narcotics.
Okay.
Okay? If he smells any type of narcotics in there, he'll alert, which in the state of Illinois, if the dog alerts to the car, that gives us probable cause to search the car.
Okay.
At that time, I'll put my dog up, I'll search the car, and if there's drugs inside the car, then we'll seek charges against you. Okay? And that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you're worried about just a little bit of personal amount or something like that, I'm not overly concerned about that.
To the best of my knowledge, there is no marijuana in my car, or cocaine, or heroin, or anything of that nature.
Okay.
I didn't put any in there. I didn't take off with anything. I purposely don't drive with drugs. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't want any problems. I don't.
Okay.
And I feel like that the situation, it's like you're putting something on me that is not even fair. I don't have a history of drug abuse or
well, you have a history of record.
No, I have an arrest.
Okay.
Not a conviction.
Okay. Well, I don't know that. I don't know if it's conviction or not. I don't know.
It was an arrest, but there was no conviction.
Can I have consent to search your car to check for any kind of illegal substances?
Run your dog around the outside, but I'm not going to voluntarily give you consent to search
Well, I'll tell you what.
Officer Reichert checks me for weapons and drugs, and then he moves to the front of the car to check John.
Good. You mind keeping your hands out of your pocket on that, okay? I'm going to detain the car long enough to run my dog around it to check for illegal substances, okay? Your buddy's a little bit nervous about it when I talk to him about the subject. To the best of your knowledge, does everything inside the car belong to you or him? Is there anything in the car that doesn't belong to either one of you guys?
Just my bags in the back are the only thing that's mine, man.
Okay. I've asked him for consent to search the car. He's really nervous about that. Go ahead and keep your hands out of your pocket, okay? We have a major problem with this highway with people running guns and drugs and illegal stuff up and down the highway, okay? And let me tell you something. I'm not overly concerned about a little bit of personal amount of marijuana or personal amount of anything, okay? We're looking for big drug traffickers and people that are running loads of dope trucks.
Understand, man.
Okay. Nothing illegal inside the car that you're aware of?
That I'm aware of.
Good dope, though. Good dope. Let's see what we can find.
As you can hear by the officer's vocal guidance, the dog has it in its mind that there are drugs somewhere in this car. And in order for this dog to get his toy, he has to find those drugs.
Sit.
I find it peculiar that Officer Reichert takes the dog immediately to the front of the vehicle, out of camera range, and then tells the dog to sit.
Show me what's that.
Something else I find peculiar is the fact that the dog immediately goes to the front of the police cruiser as if he's been rehearsed to indicate in the front of a vehicle. If this is the case, that means the dog will always indicate off camera, and this will allow Officer Reichert to manufacture his probable cause, and it will allow him to search any vehicle he wants.
That's a good boy. Show me what's that. Show me what's that. That's a good boy. Oh, that's a good boy. Show me. Show me. Where? Where's that? Show me. Oh, that's a good boy.
After watching Michael Reichert search my vehicle with his dog, I decided to find other Dutch Shepherds, which is the same breed of dog that Michael Reichert used. As you can see here, I found several videos where Dutch Shepherds are being used to find contraband in various locations. The handlers are not giving them any verbal cues. All they're doing is showing the dog where to sniff, and when the dog finds contraband, he sits and points. There is no barking, there is no scratching, there is no major fanfare. I did find a video that would probably better explain what happened at the front of my vehicle when Michael Reichert conducted his search.
In the following footage, I'm going to show you a documented trained narcotic detector dog false alerting. Notice this Labrador hunting for the substance?
Go ahead. Show me. Show me. Good boy. Show me.
That's called a false positive. There are no substances there at all, and the canines indicate. It's clear and plain to see there are no narcotics there. Now watch, she'll continue getting the dog to alert, talking the dog into alerting. Remember this, it is not the dog's fault. It is not the dog actually lying. It's the narcotic detector dog handler.
Now, let's put these videos side by side with Mr. Reichert's search and see what we get.
Go ahead. Show me. Show me. Good boy. Show me.
Show me what's that. Show me what's that. That's a good boy. Show me.
That's called a false positive.
Officer Michael Reichert has just manufactured probable cause and will continue to further violate my civil rights.
Hey, Terrence, come here a minute. All right, listen up. I bring my dog around the front of the car. He comes right to the front of your car, sits down, he starts scratching me and starts reloading. Starts barking to it. The dog's trained to smell marijuana, cocaine, heroin, and meth. Okay. He's obviously smelling something. Now,
Where do you smell?
okay.
Where at?
Towards the front of the car. Okay.
Okay.
The wind's blowing this way, so any odor that would be in the car is being pushed towards the front of the car. Okay. Now, one last time, I am going to search your car.
With what he had set out to do from the very moment he pulled me over, he finally got into my vehicle. He searched the car thoroughly, inside and out. He tore through our luggage, and he even hung up on my mother, who was on the speakerphone in the car. And once he realized that his hunch of this out-of-state vehicle wasn't hauling drugs through his state, and once he had realized he'd made a mistake, he returns to the front of the vehicle with one last lie to cover up his misconduct.
Here's the deal, Terrence. Inside your car, under your seats and under the back seat, there's shake, marijuana shake.
Well, here's the problem with that. Under the passenger seat, I have a drawer, and there's nothing going under that drawer. There are some crumbs and things on the floor, but none of it looks like marijuana to me. The other problem with this story is that there's shake or marijuana shake under my front seats and back seat is that I don't have any back seats in my car. So that leaves the driver's seat. And here is a photo of the driver's seat after we left the traffic stop. Can you find any drugs? I can't.
Under your seats and under the back seat, there's shake, marijuana shake. A little bit all over the car. Okay? That's what the dog is probably alerting to.
Another fabrication by Michael Reichert. Here is an officer from Animal Planet's Canine Cops explaining the two types of drug detection dogs.
Well, our dogs search. Some dogs are passive, some are aggressive. His dog is aggressive. Once that dog indicates he wants to go after it, so he'll tear up. We're trying to save from your truck getting tore up. So that's why we want to know if there's anything else in there.
If Michael Reichert's dog had actually smelled drugs in the vehicle, the dog would have indicated near the door and taken a seat. Or, if the dog had been an aggressive indicator, he would have tried to climb through the window to get to the marijuana crumbs underneath the seat. But that's not what happened. While trying to acquire the video of this traffic stop, I was stonewalled at every turn. I have also submitted additional requests for videos of other traffic stops involving Michael Reichert. I would guarantee that within those archives, if they haven't been destroyed already, you would find that there is a pattern of abuse by Officer Michael Reichert. Officer Reichert has a criminal history. In 2006, Officer Michael Reichert was fired after a federal judge ruled that he had lied during a drug trial. Officer Reichert also has a conviction in federal court for selling knockoff Oakley sunglasses. What did happen on December 4th of 2011? Well, I'll tell you. Officer Michael Reichert of the Collinsville, Illinois Police Department illegally stopped my vehicle. He used his dog to manufacture probable cause to conduct an illegal search of my vehicle. We were forced to stand on the roadside in near-freezing temperatures while he violated my rights as well as the rights of my friend John Seaton. And he trampled the Constitution. And for what? To justify the budget that pays his salary? And the worst part of it all? This was the morning of my 40th birthday. Happy birthday to me.
Last month, I noted that the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit refused to throw out a lawsuit against Michael Reichert, a Collinsville, Illinois, police officer for the roadside search he performed on the car belonging to Terrence Huff, who, unfortunately for Reichert, is also a documentary filmmaker. The search, which was captured on Reichert's dashboard camera, raised a number of questions about the use of drug dogs, the Fourth Amendment rights of motorists, the use of civil asset forfeiture and accountability for cops with a history of bad behavior. See my March 2012 report for the Huffington Post for a summary of these issues. Collinsville lies along what local defense attorneys call a forfeiture corridor, or a sector along an interstate, Interstates 55 and 70 in this case, where police regularly look for motorists who fit some profile of a drug courier. Police can then seize cars, cash and other belongings on the flimsiest of evidence, after which the owner must go to court to win it back. Huff and his friend were returning from a Star Trek convention in St. Louis when Reichert pulled them over. Huff's lawsuit revealed a number of abuses, including an incredible admission from Reichert that he would sometimes wipe marijuana on cars parked in motel parking lots in order to test his drug dog. He'd do this without the owner's permission. This is significant, because a drug dog's alert is sufficient probable cause for a search. Drug dogs often have poor performance records. Some studies and surveys, including one I did of a canine unit with the Illinois State Police, have shown that in some jurisdictions, police find measurable quantities of drugs in fewer than half the searches conducted because of an alert. Police will justify those figures by explaining that drug dogs often alert to residue or olfactory remnants of where drugs once were. By that logic, Reichert was essentially wiping probable cause on those motorist cars or wiping away their Fourth Amendment rights. Take your pick. As awards go, Huff's $100,000 settlement isn't huge, but it also isn't insignificant. The Seventh Circuit absolutely grilled Collinsville attorneys during oral arguments. If you do some math based on the figures in this 2010 article from the Edwardsville Intelligencer, Madison County as a whole, where the stop took place, brings in about $500,000 per year from civil asset forfeiture. The Collinsville Police Department gets some cut of that. So $100,000 represents about a fifth of the county's total take, at least as of 2010, and a significantly higher portion of the police department's take. A couple more awards like that, and maybe the Collinsville Police Department will start to make some changes. Here's Huff's statement on the settlement, which I've slightly cut for length. Our decision to settle was reached during mandatory settlement conference after our victory in the United States 7th Circuit Court of Appeals. For the most part, we weighed the likely outcome of the case within the Federal Circuit Court rules. When we initially filed our complaint, it was with a prosecutorial mindset. We wanted evidence. We wanted proof beyond any reasonable doubt that Officer Reichert was in the wrong. Throughout the course of this case, the city of Collinsville has done an excellent job of preventing us from getting the videos that we believe will prove that we were not the first bad traffic stop for Officer Reichert. The end of this case was no different. There were potential litigation tactics that the defendants could have taken that would have limited our discovery, or worse yet, caused us to potentially be on the hook for their costs. We felt that without being able to collect our evidence combined with the added risk, it was pointless to move forward with case. After the 7th Circuit ruling, wherein it stated that Reichert violated our Fourth Amendment rights, we proved what we set out to prove. All that was left for us was to collect damages and recover attorney's fees. The settlement amount was about as fair as it could be and was paid by an insurance company that assumed liability once the city surpassed its deductible. A bit disheartening, but as good as it was going to get for us within the civil process. The silver lining, the 7th Circuit ruling in our favor. Huff v. Reichert is now published and precedent within the 7th Circuit and persuasive throughout the United States. The flimsy excuses used as reasonable suspicion by Reichert were deemed invalid and the court reaffirmed that police officers have rules to abide by just like everyone else. If officers do not obey the rules, they can and should be held accountable. Huff v. Reichert is already being cited in other cases involving stops like ours. Our case is helping people fight bad traffic stops and bad searches. That is a good thing. Using the success of our case as a framework, want to share with people our blueprint for flipping the script on a bad traffic stop. We will show exactly how to take a bad traffic stop and turn it into cash while publicly exposing the officers involved. Since the civil process is about money, and this is the only recourse for people who experience these kinds of stops, then the courts should be clogged with cases against bad cops. We want to ease any fears about the process. We did it so anyone can do it. Police who do these roadside shakedowns are driven by monetary incentives. The courts offer financial incentives for attorneys and plaintiffs for suing police officers. Why not take advantage and get paid if your rights are violated? As for Collinsville, Michael Reichert is still employed. As a public service, we plan on releasing Officer Reichert's deposition videos. We will cut out any personal information and make them available to everyone. Breakfast in Collinsville and the depositions will remain online as long as Reichert is employed as a police officer. Given his history of questionable stops and the fact that he will not be penalized, we feel this is fair. More on forfeiture coming soon.